Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. My name's Abby and I'm a third year MSci Psychology student here at Royal Holloway. So I'm going to talk about my student experience so far here at Royal Holloway and then more specifically my psychology student experience here at Royal Holloway. I guess I should start off by talking about why I applied and how I even got here in the first place. There was many reasons why I applied to Royal Holloway, and I guess the main ones being the community uh, vibe that I felt when I visited. So actually, I didn't realise Royal Holloway even existed until a student ambassador came to my college on one of the careers fairs that were being held whilst I was doing my A-levels. So I saw a picture of founders on the prospectus and I thought, oh, that looks really pretty. I went to speak to her and she gave me a lot of information about Royal Holloway and said I should come to visit the uni and apply if I liked it. So I did my research. I went on one of the open days and I was really impressed. I really liked the community vibe that I felt and still feel here. Everyone is so friendly and so helpful. So it wasn't even just for the open day, it generally is like that even to today. So that's one of the things that greatly appealed to me. Another thing that appealed to me was the department, the psychology department itself. Every staff member that I've come into contact with has been so friendly and so helpful, but they also know what they're doing in terms of their research. They are experts in their field, and you can really see that through the lectures and the teaching. The department's within the top 10 in the UK, and again, you can literally see that all the staff members are just fantastic, really. And they're so friendly and they're so helpful too, which I again really appreciate. And also the personal tutor system that's here in the department is great because you get allocated a personal tutor from the psychology department who you can go to speak about the course or your general sort of welfare, and you can just book slots to speak to them, and now you can book slots and speak to them over Microsoft Teams, which is again great, and they can be your reference if you apply to jobs or different careers, which comes in handy because they get to know you on a one-to-one basis. So it's very helpful, and I've had, like, for instance, my personal tutor since first year and now I'm in third year, and it's great because you can really build that rapport with them. I guess more in general about the university, there's lots of social events to make new friends, which again was very helpful because I came to Royal Holloway knowing nobody, and now I have a really good group of friends. So for example, the Students' Union, the SU, they run a number of different events. My favourite one, I guess, from last year, I went to a chocolate lock-in with my friend. So they organised a trip to Hotel Chocolat, and for a shameless chocoholic like myself, it was absolutely brilliant. We got to taste a variety of chocolate and it was just very tasty and very lovely. And there's different events that the SU hold as well. There's also a number of different societies that you can join. We have over 150. So I joined the African Caribbean Society. They hold a lot of events as well, and the Women of Colour Collective too, which is a nice group to speak to, and of course the Psychology Society as well. You don't even have to be studying psychology to join, and they're great as well because they bring in employers or speakers as well, which is relevant to psychology. And it's great again to meet new people and to do something outside of your studies with a group of people, like-minded people. There's also the summer ball that is run every year, and that again is such a magnificent experience, and I went to last year, and unfortunately due to COVID this year it was cancelled, but it's such a good event to go to. But this academic year, the SU did organise some events such as the outdoor cinema, so I went with my friends to that, and that was also a lovely experience because we got to do something outdoors and still socialise in a COVID secure way. So a little bit more about being a psychology student. So I really love the course here. It's just the right balance, so between coursework and exams, which again is something that greatly appealed to me. So every year builds on the next, and my favourite modules has to be in my first year. I guess that they're also good. My favourite modules, I think, is understanding mental health, I think it's called now, and biological psychology. So we were learning about, you know, mental disorders, paranoia, delusions, and one of our lecturers actually did the lecture from a feminist perspective. So, you know, how mental disorders came about and its implications on women and even into today's society. And it just sparked a lot of very interesting debates and discussion. With biological psychology, I really, really liked learning about the anatomy of the brain. It was basically neuroscience, and I still like that. And into second year, that was one of my favourite modules. Again, was brain and behaviour, which we got to learn more about the anatomy of the brain. We actually got to sit in a lecture where we saw real life brain, and it was really engaging because we could put sort of theory into practice and see it's different from looking at a diagram of a brain and then actually a real life structure of it. And social psychology is also one of my favourite modules from last year, in my second year. That was so interesting. We got to learn about the psychology behind prejudice and prejudice reduction and groupthink, and again it just applied to real life, which appealed to me so greatly. But now I'm in my third year, and like I mentioned before, I'm doing an MSci, which is an integrated master's. So that means it's a 4-year course, and in the third year we get to pick our modules. So in the first 2 years, across the psychology streams, we all have to do the same modules, because they're all the core modules for the BPS accreditation. And then in third year we get to pick our modules. So on the MSci stream we get to pick 6 modules, and we get to do a micro project, whereas if you're doing the 3-year BSc, you pick 5 modules and you do a larger research project. And so this year I'm really, really looking forward to the modules that I picked. So half of it was basically neuroscience, and the other half more clinical psychology based. And I'm already really enjoying the course, and I can't wait to start next year as well. So in 4th year in the MSci, it's basically master's level. So it differs a little bit from postgraduate masters just because you do a little bit less modules and you don't have to find external funding. So for me, my personal circumstance, I can't really afford to do a separate master's, even though there is funding that you can apply for. But with the MSci, the student loan just carries on onto the 4th year for both your fees and maintenance, so that works out pretty well for me. Again, with the psychology department, there's lots of opportunities to participate in their research and related to careers as well. So in my first year, I worked as a research assistant in the Lab of Action of Body, which was so fascinating. I think it was the highlight of my first year as well, because I got to work with postdoctoral researchers on their interoception study. So interoception sort of being looking at your bodily sensations without your internal bodily sensations. So things like counting your heartbeat without touching your pulse, or how you're able to perceive your internal bodily sensations. So I was able to run experiments and test participants. I got to put ECG traces on them and monitor their heartbeats whilst they were carrying out an experiment like on the computer, like playing a game, and we even got to go to the Tate in London and test participants there. There was researchers from all over Europe that came, from cognitive neuroscientists, psychologists. It was just an amazing experience. We got to do VR. It was just amazing. And that was with one of the professors here at Royal Holloway within the department. So that is so great, and now that really influenced my choice of career after my degree. So I want to go into research now, possibly neuroscientific research, and link that into a more clinical setting, because initially I wanted to become a clinical psychologist, which I still do, but now I want to focus a bit more on research as well. So that'll be, I think, pretty cool. But yeah, there's always opportunities to participate in research as well here as just as a participant as well, and that's also a great way to see what's going on in the department, what kind of research they're doing. And in my second year, I found a placement in one of the hospitals in London on a psychiatric unit. So I was working there or volunteering there for 1 day a week alongside my studies, and that was now put as a micro placement on my transcript, which again that was such good experience, and it was really great that I now have that on my transcript. So and that will help me, I guess, in the future for becoming on my path to becoming a clinical psychologist and researcher. So that, in a nutshell, that is so far been my experience here at Royal Holloway.